Hey everybody, Sinister Lex here. Today we're taking U-Focus and talking about it in a little more depth, just to expand on what we covered yesterday in yesterday's video. Before we get into that, make sure you drop down and get into the Discord chat. It's free if you want to hang out in there and get questions answered about freelancing, entrepreneurship, any of that stuff. Also remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Click the get notification bell if you want my notifications. Now, U-Focus. We talked about how it's going to help you get gigs. It's going to help you land clients, get responses to your proposals. It's going to help them to understand that you care about them. It's coming from a place of second-person perspective, focusing on the other person, not yourself, not your degrees, not your experience, none of that stuff. It's all about them, how you can help them, how you can solve their problems and help them accomplish their goals, whatever those goals may be. Maybe it's getting traffic, maybe it's growing their audience, maybe it is getting more sales, whatever that is, and whatever your skill is. It's about connecting those two things, showing how your skills, all the things that you bring to the table, and all the stuff that they need to happen, and all of their problems, their fears, their anxieties, you can put those out and you can get the job done. You have to show how those two things connect. That's the gist of U-Focus and what it is. It's just focusing on the other person, showing that you can help them. It's showing that you care. But what actually goes into U-Focus? What is the underlying psychology maybe of what U-Focus is? That's what this video is about, and we're going to try and break down a little bit of this without going too deep, because there's a lot you could put into this. There's a lot to this. So we talked about how to win friends and influence people yesterday. We talked about how people like to talk about themselves. They like it when you are listening to them. They like it when you are discussing them, whenever you are curious about them, whenever you are interested in them. These are all things that people like, and they don't want to hear about you. They don't want to hear about your background or all of the stuff that you've done. It doesn't matter how entitled you feel to that job or how good of a fit you are based on your qualifications or based on your price or anything. They just don't care. So what do they care about? What do clients care about? What are you aiming for when you are trying to write a proposal with a U-Focus? In my experience, there's a couple things that we need to accomplish here. Actually, there's really just two things. There's two main things you need to accomplish. So in order for a client to feel like you have a U-Focus, this is going to change. It's going to shift depending on what the client needs, depending on what they're asking for. But the two main things that they need from you are to know, one, that you're a credible authority, and two, that you make them feel comfortable. And I would even add, I guess, a third one, that they need to be confident in you and your ability to get the job done. So credibility helps establish that confidence, but I guess mainly it's about confidence and comfort. Confidence and comfort, okay? You have to make them confident in you that you can get the job done, and you have to make them feel comfortable working with you. Comfortable in the sense that, one, they like you as a person, two, they feel confident in you, because that's going to make them more comfortable handing you money. So confidence and comfort is what you're aiming for, and you have to be the one who figures out how you establish that. Now, confidence can be established through credibility. It can be established through your background and experience if you relate that to the client and what they need. So when you're writing these proposals, you have to keep that in mind. It's not about, you can't start with, I have 20 years of experience, I have a bachelor's degree, they don't care, because that's not, to bridge that gap in between what they need and what you've got, you have to start by talking about what they need first, and then bringing in your stuff so that you can connect it afterwards. So if they're saying, I need a copywriter, or I need a web designer for 10 web pages, that's what they need. When you write your proposal, it's going to start off with, you're just going to repeat that back to them probably. You need a copywriter for 10 pages of web copy in X style. And then after that, you might come in and say, I'm a copywriter who writes web copy and I have 10 years of experience, maybe that makes us a fit. Something like that, you're just kind of bridging that gap. So, but in that space, whenever you repeat back what they've said so that you're feeding their own words back to them. You're showing you pay attention. You're showing attention to detail, which we talked about yesterday. You're showing attention to detail by feeding their own words back to them. And that's going to start to establish rapport. It shows that you're talking about them. You're putting them first. That's the first part of you focus. Now you have to come in and connect yourself with that, and you have to establish confidence and comfort. So the confidence comes from positioning yourself as a credible authority. This is one reason that I tell people that, first of all, you need to niche down, and second of all, you need to only send proposals to people you can actually help. If you don't know that you can actually help them, you're not going to be able to establish this confidence or the comfort with the client because they're going to see right through you. If you're a bullshit person sending bullshit proposals to jobs you've never done before, then obviously they're going to see right through you. If you've never written a blog post and you don't know the first thing about writing, then how can you expect to pitch a copywriting job and be able to write sales copy that's going to sell? This is where I think a lot of people are getting hung up. People see copywriting threads like mine and they say, oh, well, that's the way to make money. I'm going to go on and start doing copywriting and making money. Well, that's not how it works. Everything is linked together. You have to understand that when it comes to any part of business, especially digital marketing of any kind, and don't make no mistake, this is a form of digital marketing. There's a chain link, okay? There's a series of steps that you have to go through in order to take a person from here, not knowing you, to here, giving you money. There's steps in between that, and you have to address those steps one at a time. That's what we're kind of doing with YouFocus. You have to get their attention, right? You have to build interest, create desire, and then drive action. That's how AIDA model works in copywriting. So those are steps that you follow. These are parts of your funnel on Upwork. To make this happen, you have to talk about them first, and then you have to connect yourself with that. So you need a direct response copywriter for 10 pages of web copy. I'm a direct response copywriter who writes web copy for, and then maybe you name drop a couple of your biggest, most reputable clients if you have them. So maybe I'm a direct response copywriter who writes for the New York Times, or I'm a direct response copywriter who writes for Forbes. Those are strong credibility markers because those are big names that people know. So what is your strongest credibility marker? It doesn't have to be a name of someone you've worked for. It could be amounts you've earned for clients. It could be amounts you've earned for yourself. It could be the number of followers you have, if you have a following of any kind. It could be the number of words you've written. How many books have you published? How many web pages have you designed? How many funnels have you built? You have to think about the credibility markers in your industry that are going to establish you as some kind of credible authority. Somebody who, this is how you start to show that you can help them. If you say, I'm a direct response copywriter who just got out of I just finished my marketing degree, nobody's going to give a shit because that doesn't make you credible. That just says that you've spent a lot of time learning, but you don't have anything to back it up. They want real world proof. These are clients searching for contractors. These are clients searching for solutions to problems they have. They can't solve problems with a college grad who doesn't have any real world experience. So you show real world experience by adding credibility markers. Big numbers that you've got, followers, pages you've done, websites you've built, apps you've coded, lines of code you've written, number of words, the millions of words that you've written of copy, how many, I don't know, I guess you could name drop schools if you had a big school. If you were going to say that you got a degree, maybe you would have to name the school that you got that from. If you were telling me you got a degree in, let's say, copywriting, you would need to name drop something like Harvard University. If you named off Harvard, I'm going to pay attention to that and be like, okay, this guy went to Harvard. That's pretty cool, especially if you finish. But if you didn't go to Harvard, you didn't go to somewhere where I'm going to know the name. If you just went to freaking Ashford University like me, not going to give a shit. That's not a strong enough credibility marker for me. Credibility establishes confidence. So you need to build up credibility. You first have to focus on them, then you have to connect yourself to them, show how you relate to what they need you to do, and then you have to establish credibility so that they start to believe and feel like you are someone who can get this done. If I've written copy for Fortune 500 companies and this company is a Fortune 1000 company, well then maybe that makes sense that I'm the kind of guy who can get them from where they are to where they want to be, from Fortune 1000 to Fortune 500. Who knows? That's probably not going to be the case. My copywriting is probably not going to be the shifting decision maker in that, or your website's probably not going to be the one single thing that shifts that, but it's part of the puzzle, and we're trying to establish ourselves as an authority who is credible and that they can feel confident in. So some of the other ways that you do this are maybe, I don't know, I mean, that's the main things. The credibility is the main thing here. We have to establish that confidence. We have to give them confidence in ourselves. So I guess that's the main thing I wanted to talk about today, was just you are establishing that connection with them. Then you're showing how you relate. Then you're showing your credibility, and this starts to build confidence. And then you also have to talk to them like a person. So let's talk about that part for a minute. The comfortable part, the comfort part of working with you is going to be you speaking to them as a person. If you're trying to sell this person, if you're trying to sell these people, you are mistaken. If you're trying to sell them if you're trying to write a sales letter as your proposal, it's not going to work. Anything that you try to do, any of these, if you try to use fancy persuasion tactics on them, you try to use scarcity, you try to use limited time offers, you try and tell them you might not be available next week, that stuff's not going to work. These are business people. Think about it. They're entrepreneurs just like you, and they see right through that shit. You need to talk to them like a real person. What would a real person say? If you went to a local networking group and you wanted to talk to a big business owner from your local area, what would you need to say to get his attention? How would that conversation go? Just play it out in your mind. How would that conversation go? It's not going to be you trying to sell him something like a car salesman. Not if you ever want to have a chance at him ever speaking to you again and not thinking you're a fucking weirdo. It goes a different way. It's you and him have to connect. You have to first introduce yourselves to each other. You have to meet, right? That's the first part of the process. Then you have to start to establish a relationship. That's the second part of the process. These are steps. They flow in order. There's steps to your proposal. There's steps to the entire client hiring process. There's steps to growing and scaling your business. Everything has steps. Everything is a process. So how are you going to start to adjust for that? How are you going to start to implement this into your business? That's my question for you today. What have you been doing? Have you been selling stuff, selling yourself, trying to sell yourself like a freaking copywriter, salesman, car salesman? Let me know in the comments down below, or if something about this isn't clear to you. You need to establish confidence and comfort in your clients. That's what they need. They need to feel confident and comfortable, confident in your skills, confident that you can get the job done, and comfortable working with you, and that you're not going to try and be a salesy douchebag. They need to feel like you're a real person and that you're just there to do a job and to help them out, and you both benefit. That's how this goes. That's part of you focus. That's part of showing you care and showing that you can actually help them get the job done. That's all I've got for this one. Like I said, drop me a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. Click get notifications if you want those. Remember to enter the 1K giveaway. We still only got like 10 people entered in the 1K giveaway. $100 worth of freelance gear. So I don't know, somebody's going to get it, but probably not you if you're not entered. So go watch that video. It's in the link down below. I'm Sinister Lex. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.